Hi, my name is Sylvie. I am a certified health coach and I help women look great and feel great through fasting and whole food nutrition. In today's video, we are going to talk about how to lose weight after 40 and how to not gain it back. You may find that after you've turned 40, losing weight is even harder. It is not necessarily easy at the best of times, but after 40, things may get a little bit more challenging. So in this video, I am going to share a little bit about my experience and how I was able to lose 20 pounds within about 8 or 9 months, and how I was able to keep it off. There are a few key elements that help me achieve my goal weight, and so I'm gonna go through them. The number one element is intermittent fasting, and I'm sure it doesn't surprise you considering that pretty much all my videos and my blog is about intermittent fasting, because yeah, it works amazing. However, I do want to say that I had done intermittent fasting quite a few times before I got the results that I was looking for. So there's a few things that I have learned that made a difference, and I'm going to share these with you. The number one thing is that I had to extend my fasting window. So most people who get started with intermittent fasting will typically fast for 16 hours and eat during an 8-hour window. But it turns out that it is quite easy to eat too much during an 8-hour window, and also it may not be a long enough fasting window to get into ketosis at first. And being in ketosis will definitely help your weight loss journey because your appetite will decrease, your insulin level will stabilize, you'll feel great, you'll have more energy. And sometimes if you fast for only 16 hours each day, you may have barely any ketones and you won't benefit as much from your intermittent fasting. The best fasting window for me was the warrior diet, which is a 20-hour fasting window. I thought it was just perfect because it's long enough that you get in ketosis and you experience weight loss. But also, since you get to eat during 4 hours, you don't feel as deprived and as restricted. During these 4 hours, you get to enjoy the foods that you want, and it helps mentally. I just felt that it gave me that sense of food freedom. That was my favorite. Of course, the OMAD diet is very big right now, and a lot of people are seeing great success using the OMAD diet. In case you don't know, the OMAD diet is 1 meal a day, and that means a 1-hour eating window. So, I mean, this is something you may want to try. I just felt that a 4-hour eating window was better for me. And also talking about how easy it is to eat too much during an 8-hour window, I want you to realize that calories do matter. A lot of people who promote intermittent fasting and the keto diet seem to think that calories don't matter for weight loss when you use these techniques, but they do. Usually the reason you lose weight with intermittent fasting and the keto diet is that you eat less calories. It's that simple. And to lose about 1 pound a week, you need a calorie deficit of 3,500 calories. So that's about 500 calories a day. And that is a lot harder than you'd think to achieve this kind of calorie deficit, considering that probably the average woman to maintain her weight needs around 1,800 calories a day. Well, it depends on your weight and your age and many things, but you know, that would be my guess for the average woman. So that would mean that she would need to consume about 1,300 calories a day to lose 1 pound a week. And that is not a lot. It is not a lot. To even have one meal that is 500 calories, that's hard to keep it that low. It can be hard to keep it that low. I mean, just the average restaurant meal is close to 1,000 calories very often. So there you go. Now you can see how having a shorter eating window would really help lose that weight. Another option that also works really well for beginners, if you do not want to start with the warrior diet, for example, or OMAD, which is 1 meal a day, like I said, is using another intermittent fasting method like the 5-2 method or the eat stop eat method. These are actually the two methods that I used at first before I did the warrior diet, and the reason they are so effective and wonderful is that you don't have to do them every day. So for a beginner, it doesn't feel as restrictive because you kind of get to live your life normally the other days of the week. It's nice not to feel hungry every single day. So just to give you a brief overview, the 5-2 method is eating 500 calories only, 2 days a week. And the eat stop eat method means that you are fasting for 24 hours twice a week. So these are great options for if you do not want to do intermittent fasting with a short eating window every single day. There's a pretty good chance that you'll see results with these methods. It's all a matter of experimenting and seeing what works for you, because we're all so different, right? Another thing that made a huge difference for me is modified fasting. Modified fasting is based on the concept of the fasting mimicking diet by Dr. Walter Longo. And it means that during a 5-day period, you are severely restricting calories. So typically you'll eat about 40 to 50% your regular calorie intake. And also during that period of time, you'll be eating vegan, low protein, a higher fat amount as well. And all of this combined will really help kickstart the healing process. It'll stabilize your insulin level, and it'll make you feel great, really, really great. It might be difficult the first time you do it. You do feel hungry. I mean, you're eating only 40% of your regular calorie intake, so you will be hungry. But it's definitely worth it, and that is the number one thing that has helped me achieve my weight loss goal. I have a few meal plans to help you do the fasting mimicking diet or modified fasting if that's something you would like to try, and I will leave a link in the comments to help you get started with that. Another great option is the keto diet. So those who really don't feel that they can go hungry at all, that it makes them feel awful and they can't function properly, the keto diet will be a great option because it's a way to stimulate fasting, basically. You are eating very few carbs. As you probably know, the keto diet is under 50 grams of carbs a day. Even some meal plans recommend less than 20 grams of carbs. Eating that way will cause your body to use up all its glycogen supplies and then have to resort to your fat stores to produce ketones, and that will help you achieve ketosis without fasting. One of the benefits of your body running on ketones is that apparently your cells produce less waste or reactive oxygen species when they are running on ketones. It also helps with longevity, and that is another reason why most people feel so good when they are in ketosis. Now that I gave you a brief overview of how you can finally lose the weight even after 40 without feeling deprived all the time, let's talk about how you can make sure you keep the weight off, because for many people it's easier to lose weight than to keep it off. It is a very important part of the equation to make sure that you do not waste all your effort and that you keep the weight off. One very important thing that you should do after you reach your weight goal is you should keep up the regular weigh-ins. So I would recommend that you keep weighing yourself at least once a week, preferably even twice a week, just to see what's happening there. And if you notice, and then you'll start understanding your weight patterns. It's normal to be heavier, for example, before your menstrual cycles, and you'll start understanding your regular weight pattern. But also, if you gain 2 or 3 pounds, you'll know that most likely you've been overindulging. And then you can start fasting a little bit longer, maybe for a week or two, and see what happens. Because I don't know why, but it seems like it takes a month of strict eating to lose 3-4 pounds, right? And then you can gain that much within a few days when you're not careful. And that's why it's so important to check in regularly to make sure that you are not gaining that weight back. Another thing you can do to make sure you stay on track is to practice longer fasts, maybe twice a week. Because after you reach your goal weight, most likely you'll extend your eating window. And if you're not eating keto, that means you won't be in ketosis most days, or you'll have very little ketones in your blood. So having these 2 days where you fast longer not only will keep you on track for your weight, but it'll help keep your insulin levels stable and benefit from the healing properties of your body running on ketones rather than glucose. Another tip that I have is that you keep paying attention to your body's cues. I always talk about paying attention to your body's cues in all my videos almost, because it is very important to listen to your body and pay attention to how you feel, the type of hunger that you are experiencing, your sleep, your mental alertness. So pay attention. If you start not feeling as good and having more cravings, chances are that again you've been indulging and that you should fast longer, maybe a few more days, so, or maybe do a modified fast, which is my next tip. My next tip is to do a few modified fasts each year. So Dr. Walter Longo recommends 2 or 3 a year, and I think that is a pretty decent goal, and that would definitely help you stay healthy and improve your health, your longevity, decrease your inflammation. Consider doing 2 or 3 modified fasts every single year. So these are my most critical tips. I say that if you keep that up, if you make sure that you have at least 2 days a week where you fast longer, like maybe at least 20 hours, if you keep paying attention to your body's cues, you do 2 or 3 modified fasts every single year, and you keep weighing yourself regularly every week, even after you reach your weight goal, you will be able to keep the weight off and not gain it back. I hope you found this video useful, and thank you for watching.